on your desk, you should have this piece of paper that says dividing 3 and 4 digit dividends, notes, and a piece of loose leaf. Why do you think, just looking at this piece of paper, would I have you get out a piece of loose leaf? Cam? Show your work. Yeah, because there's not a whole lot of room on this. Some of you write small enough where you could show your division on there. But we're all just going to do it on loose leaf. And then just write our answers on the work page. Okay? But before we go on, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to pass out the model worksheet that we did the other day. Give me just a sec. Okay. Yes? It's not that problem. On this section, these were the Khan Academy ones. You just missed one of them. Oh. Do you remember doing those online? Yeah. Okay, yep. On the bottom ones, I didn't mark specifically which ones you missed. Those were the Khan Academy assignments. So it tells you which ones you got missed while you're doing it. Does that make sense? Logan? Are you sure it doesn't say 8.5? Did I circle it? Is the circle look like a 1? Hold on, let me pause. When I grade, I take off in fractions, but then I convert it to decimals to show you your score because it's easier to enter online. Okay, on your loose leaf, first thing I want you is turn it sideways. Why do you think I'm going to have you turn your loose leaf sideways, Briley? So you can use the lines. I do not have sideways lined paper, but I can pull up graph paper. So I'm going to use graph paper and just make my boxes big enough. And I get even more little grids, but I'm going to ignore those. So with your paper sideways where you can see the columns, I don't need that. Okay, I'm going to do this for the first one. I'm not going to do it for all of them. Why is it? I'm frozen. Too many pause and start on my recording. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to draw in my columns, maybe. Come on. There we go. Okay, I'm going to draw in my columns. And again, yours are already on your paper, so do you have to do this? No. I'm just going to again show you. If we're using the columns, we shouldn't have any numbers over the line. Should we have 2 numbers squeezed between 2 lines? No. So on your paper, write, we'll call it number 1, even though it says example 1. Sam, can you read me the problem to example 1?
852 divided by 4.
Okay, so we're going to write it exactly how we see it. 852 divided by 4. And then go ahead and put in equals. Once we solve it, we're going to write our final answer up there at the top, nice and neat. Which of those is my divisor? Nolan, which one is my divisor? The 4, what I'm dividing by. What do we call that front number? Paxton?
Dividend.
The dividend. In a word problem, how do I pick out my dividend? Cam? It's the total. What do we call the number I'm looking for here? Lena?
Quotient.
The quotient, the answer to a division problem. Okay? How do I set that same problem up in a way that I can divide it out? Callan? To work it out. What do I have to, how do I write it?
4.
Cam?
You would put the 4 on the left side and then draw like a little house.
Yeah.
852 in it.
So I'm going to draw my box or my house, whatever you want to call it. I put the 4 on the outside. 8, 5, 2 on the inside. How do I say that problem? Callan? How do I say that problem? No. Chase?
852 divided by 4.
Yeah, it's the same problem. It's just written 2 different ways. So I would still say 852 divided by 4. The reason I'm going to keep pointing that out is because Callan made a common error, okay? I'm trying to teach you to say it properly because soon we will have to do 4 divided by 852. But that's not what this problem says. This is 852 divided by 4, just written 2 different ways. Stella, help me get started. What do I do?
You underline 8.
Okay. When I underline 8, what do I have to think about?
8 divided by
8 divided by 4, or how many times does 4 go into 8?
2.
Twice. So I'm going to put that above my 8. Carter, what do I do next?
You would times the 4 and 2, that's 4. You bring the 4 down.
What's 4 times 2?
8.
8. So I put the 8 right there. And then what math do I need to do with those two numbers, Kinley? Subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. Avery, what do I do next?
You drop your 5 down.
I drop my 5 down. What do I have to think about now, Briley?
What times 4 gives you something close to 5 but not over it?
Okay. What is that? 1. Yep. 4 times 1 is 4, so I put it right there. What do I do with those two numbers? Subtract. Drop my 2. Carter, how many times does 4 go into 12?
3.
3 times. So I put a 3 up there. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract, and I get nothing left over. Now, I'm not done yet. All of my work is there. Now I have to give my answer. What is my answer, Lena?
213.
213. So I'm going to put it right there. Circle it. Then write it in example 1 box on this page. So then right here, maybe. Right here, you would just write 213. 213. Do I have to put remainder 0? No, if you don't have a remainder, you don't put the remainder there. Okay? Let's go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to go back to my work page. Again, I'm not going to draw in my columns this time, but try and stay inside those columns. So example 2. We'll just call it number 2. 7, 9, 4, 6 divided by 6. And I'm going to set it up properly. So I put the dividend underneath the box. I put the divisor on the outside. Let you guys get caught up. Okay, help me get started. Naomi, what do I do first?
I'm drawing the 7.
Okay. I'm seeing how many times 6 goes into 7. How many times?
1.
Just once. So I'm going to put a 1 up at the top. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract and then get 1. Logan, what do I do next?
Bring down the 9.
Okay, I drop my 9. Keep going.
And then you do 6 times 3 equals 18.
Okay, because 6 times 3 gets me close to 19, because 6 times 3 is 18. I agree. I subtract. I get 1. Ethan, take over. What do I do now?
Bring the 4 down.
Drop down my 4. Okay.
And then you see how many times 6 goes into 4, which is 2 times.
Okay, 6 goes into 14 twice. What is 6 times 2, Ethan?
12.
12. Good job. Subtract. I'm left with 2. Take over, Jalen.
So bring down the 6.
Drop my 6.
And then the closest thing that you can get is it's 6 times 4, which is 24.
Okay, 6 times 4 is the closest. I agree, and you said that is 24. I have nothing left to drop, so Callan, what do I do with that 2?
Remainder.
It's my remainder. So then I'm going to come up to the top, write my final answer, 1,000. I'm going to put in my comma, make it a proper answer. 1324, remainder 2. Circle it. Where else should I write it?
On your paper.
On your work page, yep, or on your actual worksheet. Okay, we're actually going to skip over example 3 and 4. We're going to come back to the word problems later. Look at example 5. So next one on your work page, I'm going to scroll. Go ahead and copy down example 5. And if at any point while we're working these you run out of loose leaf, just grab a new piece out. Okay, example 5 says 135 divided by 3. So I'm going to write it out horizontally. So we could write the same division problem really 3 different ways. We can write it horizontally, vertically, or I call it the work way, the way that we set it up to work it. What would the vertical, if that's horizontal, horizontal side to side, vertical is up and down. How could I write that same problem vertically? Stella?
135 on top and then
As a what?
sign and 3.
Okay, I agree with half of that. She said 135 on top, divide sign, and then 3. Where would the 3 go?
Below 5.
Okay, I agree with most of that. And I think it'll hit you when they say it. Reese?
You put the fraction.
Fraction bar instead of the divide sign. That would be gone. So this is writing it horizontally, vertically, and then again, the work way is what I call it, which means how would I have to set it up to actually work it out? That's where you guys call it the house. And again, I don't care what you call it, as long as when I say work it out, you know how to draw it. I'm going to put the dividend or the divisor on the outside, the dividend on the inside. What makes this problem different than the first 2, Briley?
You can't divide 1 divided by 3.
Yeah, when we look at the first number, when we think how many times does 3 go into 1, it doesn't. So what do? Lena?
So you underline the 1 and the 3.
Yeah, so now I'm seeing how many times does 3 go into 13? Lena?
4
4. Where do I put the 4?
above this 3.
Above the 3, because I go into as far over as I'm dividing into. So if I go over to the 3, I put my first number above that 3. So it is 4. Cam, what's 4 times 3? 12. So I put a 12 there. I'm going to do my subtraction. Livy, what do I do now?
Bring down to 5.
Drop my 5. Kinley?
Then you write 5 above the 5.
Okay.
5 times.
Yep, I dropped my 5, so my answer will go above that. 3, 15. I subtract, I get nothing. How do I finish out my problem? I've done all the work. Stella?
You write it.
Yeah, I'm showing, here's my answer. Circle it, and then where else should I write my answer?
On the paper.
On the work page, or on that worksheet. Okay, I want you to take a second and try number 6 and 7. I want you to take a few minutes and work out example 6 and example 7. And I'm going to show you how to, because tomorrow you're going to check and correct your work. I'm going to help you figure out how do you find your errors on these ones. So you're working out 6 and 7 on your own, and then we'll go over them. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. 6. The bells are off because of time change. Okay, everybody should be working out problems number 6 and 7 right now. I'm going to work it out incorrectly, so once you finish, do not change your answers if you have something different than me. Again, you're doing 6 and 7, and then just sit tight for a second. Again, don't change your answers if you don't agree with me. Okay, so tomorrow when you come in, you have 9 division problems for homework tonight. I'll have 9 answers up on the board. What do you think you're going to have to do? Cam? Check them, and then what? If you missed them, what are you going to have to do? Try and fix them. So I'm going to teach you how to find your errors, okay? Because sometimes if you just rework it, you do the same thing wrong a second time because you're looking back at what you did the first time. So for number 6, when I give you the answer tomorrow, divided by 7. Oops. 6, 7, 8, 4 divided by 7. You should get 9, 6, 9. Yes, remainder 1. Okay, now, when I go to check my work, notice, obviously I see it's wrong because I got 9, 8, 4, remainder 3. But I want you to start focusing on where you messed up. Find exactly where you messed up. So let's look. Our 9 is the same, so our 9 is good. The next number is wrong, which means this was the last spot that I was correct. So you go under that. You look at your work right here. Check your math. What's 9 times 7? 63, because a lot of our errors are multiplication errors. Did I multiply wrong? No, my multiplication is good. Where else could I mess up? Kinley? Your subtraction. So I checked my subtraction. Did I subtract correctly? No. So that's where I messed up. So I would go out next to it and I would be reworking it. I'm going to squeeze mine in just because I have other problems out there. 6, 7, 8, 4. So that was correct. That was 63. There was my error. Now I have 48 instead of 58. Now I have to keep going. How many times does 7 go into 48? Kinley? 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. 6, 4. How many times does 7 go into 64, Reese? Sam, those are your notes. You probably shouldn't be doing that. 9 times. So then I got 1 left over. Now do I agree with what the answer should be? Yes. So when you're checking your work, look at the last number that you agree with the answer. And that's where you start checking down below. Cam?
To check to see if you got the right answer, can't you do like 48 times 4?
48.
On the next problem?
Yes, you could do 48 times 4. If there's a remainder, it gets a little bit trickier. But for this one, you could do 784 times 7, and then you add on the extras once you're there. Okay, and number 7 is correct. It is 48. So if you got 48, you're good to go on that one. Okay? Questions on those three? If you got them correct, write it on your worksheet. Flip your paper to the back. We're going to do 3 more examples. We're going to do 3 more examples. On the back side, we're going to go to example 9. I told you we're skipping the word problems for today. Example 9. 5, 2, 3, 1. Divided by 4. We'll rewrite it. 5, 2, 3, 1. Divided by 4. Jack, help me get started on this one.
5 divided by 4.
Yeah, I see how I look at the first number. 4 is smaller than that, so how many times does 4 go into 5? Once. I put it at the top. 1 times 4 is 4. Ethan, what do I do next?
Subtract it.
I subtract and I get 1. Then what do I do?
Bring down the 2.
Drop my 2. Kanan, how many times does 4 go into 12? 3 times. So I put my 3 above my 2 up there. 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down my 3. What do I have to think about now? Briley? Well, first, what should I stop and think about?
How many times does 4 go into 3?
Yeah, how many times does 4 go into 3? It doesn't, okay? So she said double drop, and she's correct, but oftentimes when they don't pause and do something else right, then they forget it. What else should I do before I drop that second number, Liv? Put a 0 at the top, because it's 4 does not go into 3. It goes into 3 0 times. So make sure you put your 0 at the top and then drop your second number. Avery, how many times does 4 go into 31? 7. 4 times 7 is 28. I subtract and I get 3. So remainder 3. 1,307. Remainder 3. Circle it to show the world that's your final answer. Then write it on your work page, on your worksheet. Take a second. I want you to try 10 and 11. Okay. Once you finish those 2 problems, check up here on the board. Again, if you visually see a double drop in the problem, Callan, don't do that. Don't do that yet. If you visually see a double drop in the problem, what should that tell you? If I see that right there or that right there, that means there should be a 0 in my quotient. Yep, there should be a 0 up here at the top. If there's a double drop in your work, there should be a 0 up in your answer. Answers I will get for those. I will get the answer of 29 for that one. What will they forget to put? A 0. What will I get as an answer for this one? 35, remainder 1. Or sorry, 354, remainder 1. Yes, you'll just leave out the 0. And again, does that change its value? Yes. Okay, I want everybody to get out your binder. Get out your binder. On your desk, you have 4 papers. I want you to take your modeling worksheet and put your loose leaf from today on top of it. And then put the worksheet from today on top of that, your notes page. And then the little half sheet I gave you on top of that. So if I'm looking at it top to bottom, I should see your half sheet, today's notes work page or worksheet, today's loose leaf, and then the worksheet that I gave back to you graded. Okay? Flip to your notes and homework section in your binder. Flip to your notes and homework section in your binder, and I want you to put those in there just like that, to where all of those pages are together in your binder. I'm going to unclip Addie's. So again, on bottom, it'll be the modeling worksheet that you got back today. Just above that is today's work page, today's notes worksheet, and today's homework. The half sheet is your homework. There are 9 problems. Are you going to show your work on this little tiny half sheet? No. When you come tomorrow, Carter, are you listening? You are not showing work on the tiny little half sheet. When you come tomorrow, the only thing I should see on this half sheet is what? Answers. Where will all of your work be? On loose leaf. So everybody pull out a piece of loose leaf. Pull out a piece of loose leaf. I want you to title your loose leaf Division Half Sheet Day 1. If you look at the top of the half sheet, it says what kind of division, but then at the back it says Day 1. Tomorrow you will have one very similar that, what do you think it's going to say? Day 2. Yes. Okay, so all of your work will go on that piece of paper. Once you have your loose leaf for tonight titled, you may go ahead and go. I will see you tomorrow.